Okay, let's get into this. Today we're doing a deep dive into a place you've almost certainly seen photos of. Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia.
Right, iconic.
Exactly. But we're looking beyond, the usual postcard view. We've got this personal account, a blog post from Wanderlust over 70.
Ah, okay, so a different perspective.
Yeah, exactly, a different lens. And our mission today is really to pull out the useful insights from this person's actual visit.
The kind of stuff you don't always get in a travel guide.
Precisely, like how the timing of their visit totally changed things, what the deal is with the famous food, the real pros and cons of going in the off season.
And there's something else nearby too, right? A memorial.
Yes, exactly. A pretty significant spot just down the road. So we're aiming for a richer, more sort of layered understanding of this famous place.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Well, the author kicks things off with something that honestly made me do a double take. They talk about their recent trip and the first big impression.
Yeah.
How quiet it was.
Quiet. Peggy's Cove. That is surprising.
Right. I mean, this place is huge for tourism. It gets mentioned in the same breath as, like, Niagara Falls sometimes. One of Canada's biggest draws.
So empty wasn't bad then?
Not at all, according to them. They loved it. Talked about walking right across those big granite rocks, strolling the boardwalks.
Without elbowing people out of the way.
Pretty much. They felt like they had the place to ourselves, was the quote. And they said that really added to the magic.
Huh. It really shows how timing can just completely reshape an experience, doesn't it? Especially somewhere so famous.
Totally. Oh, and the weather, they said it was pretty darn good, but, coastal winds made it feel quite chilly.
Yeah, that coastal weather is always a bit of a gamble. Unpredictable. And, that feeling of peace probably leads nicely into another key part of the Nova Scotia trip. The food.
Ah, yes, the food. Let me guess. Lobster rolls.
You got it. Specifically, they call out Tom's Lobster Shack.
Okay, I've heard of that place.
Well, this author says the rolls seemed even better than they remembered. And apparently Tom's has been getting rave reviews like best in Nova Scotia consistently since their last visit in 2021.
Wow, okay. So, top tier stuff. Did they say which kind they had?
Yep, the classic for them. And their son tried a warm one with truffle in it.
Ooh, fancy. Okay, but here's the part I noticed. The cost. They mentioned the price tag, didn't they?
They did. Brace yourself.
How bad?
A staggering $30 plus tax for one roll.
Wow. Okay, so that's what? Around $34 Canadian, give or take?
Yep. And they did apparently that's just the going rate these days.
So delicious, but maybe not an everyday lunch stop.
That was their conclusion, too. Not exactly an everyday indulgence anymore. It's a bit of a reality check, isn't it? Even for iconic local food.
Definitely a heads up for anyone planning a trip.
But moving beyond that specific pricey roll, the blog post really spends some time on the whole idea of visiting Peggy's Cove outside summer, the off-season.
Right, that quiet experience they mentioned.
Yeah, but they frame it as more than just quiet. It's a unique and tranquil experience, really different from the bustling summer months.
Okay, so what are the upsides, specifically?
Well, number one is a more intimate connection with the place itself. You can actually wander the rocks, the paths, at your own pace.
Makes sense. No cues for the best photo spot.
Exactly. There's a palpable serenity, they said. Easier to just appreciate the views, the waves, and the light is softer, fewer people around. Apparently, perfect time for photography.
I can picture that. What about, shops and stuff? Are things open?
Good question. They found shops and galleries might have reduced hours, sure, but the flip side was getting more personal attention from the owners or artists.
Ah, so you can actually chat with people, learn a bit more, adds depth, as they put it.
Right, and same for dining. Options might be fewer, but you find local spots, fresh seafood, maybe those hidden gems that are less crowded.
Did they mention anywhere specific still open?
They noted the Sou'wester is always open, and they were actually surprised the coffee prices there were reasonable.
Okay, good to know, especially for a major tourist spot.
Yeah, and they make the point that eating seafood overlooking the ocean feels even more special when you're one of the few patrons.
That does sound nice. But there has to be a catch, right? The off-season. Weather has got to be a factor.
Oh, absolutely. They flagged that. It's unpredictable, definitely cooler, maybe even stormy sometimes. You need warm clothes, need to be prepared.
Okay, so it's not all tranquil sunshine.
No, but interestingly, they spin that potential negative too. That rough weather can create really dramatic coastal scenery.
Ah, like crashing waves, moody skies.
Exactly. Powerful stuff if you're dressed for it.
So the overall takeaway for the off-season seems to be it's a trade-off. Peace and quiet, maybe deeper connection.
But you need to be ready for potentially challenging weather. It offers a more reflective and personal experience away from the peak season buzz. If that's what you're after, it could be the perfect time to visit.
Right. Makes sense.
And then there's that other nearby spot you mentioned earlier. The blog adds this other layer by talking about the Swissair Flight 111 Memorial.
Yeah, how close is that?
Just 4 minutes up the road, apparently. And they really recommend stopping, calling it a solemn place worth a few minutes to visit.
Okay. That was the crash in 98, right?
Yes, September 2nd, 1998. The memorial honors the 229 people who died. But the blog emphasizes something maybe less known.
What's that?
The huge impact this event had on the local community and how remembrance is still so important there.
Right. It wasn't just a news event. It happened to that community.
Exactly. The site itself sounds quite moving, serene and reflective. A beautifully designed stone monument, plaques for the victims.
Does it talk about the response?
It does. It highlights the stories of heroism and compassion afterwards. How the local residents and first responders came together to help the families. It really showed the strength and resilience of the community.
Wow. Yeah, that adds a whole different dimension to just visiting the lighthouse, doesn't it? Knowing that history is right there.
It really does. A reminder of tragedy, but also community strength. Sitting quietly near such a beautiful, famous spot.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together from this one traveler's viewpoint. What have we got?
Well, timing is huge, clearly. It changes the whole feel, your connection to the place.
Right, and the iconic food like that lobster roll. Amazing, maybe, but know the price tag going in. It's significant these days.
Then there's the off-season appeal. Tranquil, personal, maybe more interaction with locals.
But pack layers and be ready for unpredictable weather. It's a different kind of beauty, perhaps.
And finally, don't miss the nearby history. That Swissair Memorial adds real depth, reminding you of the human stories connected to the landscape.
Yeah, so it's not just about the lighthouse and the rocks. These details give you, I think, a much rounder picture of Peggy's Cove.
Definitely more nuanced than just the typical tourist snapshot.
It provides useful stuff if you're thinking of going, or even if you're just curious about these famous places. Shows there's often more going on beneath the surface.
Which kind of leads to a final thought, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder, how many other really famous, almost postcard-perfect tourist destinations have these quieter sides, these deeper stories, maybe even somber ones waiting just off the main path or during a different time of year? Does knowing that kind of thing potentially change how you'd approach visiting a place like that? Something to think about.